This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, pastors against web shop gaming here on Grand Bahama say they will not let the issue rest, even in the face of criticisms. Today, the pastors laid out their concerns about what they call the growing number of web shop operators here on Grand Bahama. Charisma Robinson has this story.
Nearly a year has passed since Bahamians voted no against the regulation of web shop gaming. Yet still, there's no clear indication that the industry is slowing down.
Take a look downtown. You have more web shops opening up, and you have then businesses closing down. That doesn't make sense to me.
Members of the Vote No campaign here in Grand Bahama say there is an economic shift going on.
And what's happening? You're making the web shop owners very wealthy. They're living fantastic, while people are struggling trying to buy numbers.
Prime Minister Perry Christie fueling their concerns when he said recently that he regrets taking the gambling issue to referendum. But still they say the church will not stay out of this fight.
And to want us to shut up is to say that because you are Christians, because you are church leaders, you don't have a voice in this country.
The bottom line is this. Thousands put their money into the web shop, only a few benefit. That is not the Bahamian dream, the Bahamian vision. The Bahamian vision for this country is that every Bahamian has a part of the economic pie.
The pastors say they've got the support to mobilize again to ensure the message is absolutely clear to everyone. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
And now on to another controversial issue. The Bahamas Union of Teachers continuing the protest against the vetting process that requires that expatriate educators are fingerprinted. While the union is stating its opposition, education officials say the children stand to benefit. Area Vice President Quentin LaRota says the fingerprinting of educators is a violation of the Employment Act.
The union then has two concerns there. That the fingerprinting is a violation of the Employment Act, as was said, and that the cost of the vetting has jumped astronomically as compared to previous years. We look at $100 to be fingerprinted when I think it was free before, or the cost was far less, a minimal cost. And so what we don't have an argument with is that we want to make sure that every teacher, especially the ones who we recruit whose background we're not aware of, maybe from abroad, is not a criminal, and that their behavior, their history is consistent with what we expect from the best of our educators.
In the past, the ministry has hired educators who turned out to be sexual predators, and education officials say the fingerprinting is a crucial part of a strict vetting process to protect the children of the country. LaRota says he agrees that the safety of students is important, but says the rights of their members cannot be violated.
The union recommended in 2009, which means that the Department of Education and Public Service would have instituted in 2010. Teachers, this is the first year, this January, that I've gotten any concerns or complaints from teachers about the fingerprinting part of the vetting process. And when we got the complaint, of course, we had to do our homework on it, and we realized that fingerprinting to obtain work or to retain work is contrary to the Employment Act.
The Minister of Education, through a press statement, noted that the Royal Bahamas Police Force has indicated that fingerprinting is the only way that they can positively determine whether a non-Bahamian has a criminal past. While the area vice president says he understands what the ministry is trying to achieve, he contends that there is a proper process.
What we're saying is we have an issue. We have some mutual goals in terms of safety and well-being of students. We also have some desires beyond that with the travel for the expats. So let's get together and create a system where the law is maintained and respected, and we meet these goals. And if it cannot be met under this legal framework, then we have a parliament that can amend the law to accommodate something that's in the best interest of everyone.
Well, small and medium-sized businesses involved in the export of goods and services who need financial assistance can once again apply to the Caribbean Export Development Agency's Direct Assistance Grant Scheme. Executives of CEDAR were on island this week to share more information with business owners about how they can obtain the funds. During a one-day workshop, Senior Grant Advisor with CEDA Kirk Brown explained to the business leaders how they can get the most out of the fund.
If you have a company that's an existing business that's not registered and doesn't meet the eligibility criteria, but you do have another company that is actually meets the eligibility criteria, there's nothing preventing you from showing how it is that that company is going to diversify its operations into a new area. Okay? Same thing. Because not because I own a mechanic shop doesn't mean I can't start making jams or jellies or jerk sauce with the same company. Just because something else, but initially I'm using the revenue from my existing business to drive that creative idea. And I think that's something, again, we need to understand.
The special funding is available to businesses that have been in operation for at least 2 years. Those who qualify will have to make the investment, and CEDA will then issue a reimbursement of 70%. Brown says it is also important for business owners to keep proper financial records.
We just want persons to understand that this is also an opportunity that if you are looking for investors, because we hear this time to time. I mean, we get this repeated request within Caribbean Export. People have interest in other companies. We try to match business to businesses, as Chris was pointing out, based on the other services. And the reality is, sometimes when you say to the person, can you provide us some numbers to give this individual to show, you know, what they might be investing in? Oh, well, let me get back to you. Well, you know, that's it. So you've lost an opportunity.
2 additional suspects arraigned in the 8 Mile Rock court on the charge of sacrilege. The two, 27-year-old Ronaldo Fulford and 28-year-old Alan Marco Smith of Hanahill, they pled guilty to breaking into the Church of God of Prophecy in Hebron Town on 2 occasions. That's between January 13th and 17th of this year. They were each sentenced to 1 year behind bars. Yesterday, 24-year-old Benjamin Hepburn of Hebron Town pled guilty to the charge of sacrilege. His charges relate to a break-in at the same church in September of last year. He was sentenced to prison for a period of 1 year as well. Stay with us, the Bahamas. Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.